Now, this is going to be an issue to mention. Why is it still abuse when you stayed in a situation? So a constant situation you're probably going to run into is that how come, let's say you feel bad, let's say everything's going kind of bad for you, and you start seeing a lot of negative situations popping up in your life, right? Now in that moment, you might want to blame, you might want to take responsibility over time, whatever, right? Depending on who you are, how you are, all that type of stuff. Makes sense. Here's the problem though. Deep down, let's assume here that, you're decently healthy, you want to take responsibility for the situation, right? You're going to want to take responsibility for that situation. Now the problem here is that with the situation having happened, you're going to think like, okay, I want to take responsibility for this, and so therefore I'm going to stay with this individual because, you know what, I chose to side with them on the story. See, at the surface level, that will make you stay long term, assuming you never really look under the hood. But when you start looking under the hood, you start to realize, wait a minute, yes, I did agree to stay, but I only agreed to stay, or I only agreed to the situation maybe because she guilted me, maybe because of her friend guilted me, maybe some other situation kind of occurred that kind of persuaded me or coerced me or pushed me down a line to where I would, kind of go in that direction to solve the situation that way, right? So when the negative outcome comes out of it, of course you're going to be like, okay, well, I did accept to it, and you keep doing that repeatedly, which hurts your self-esteem, it's going to hurt you in general. But realistically, long term, you wouldn't have made that decision had you made the decision by yourself, right? And so once you start realizing, like, a lot of what's happening to you is happening based more so out of coercion, it's less about what you're doing and more so about who you're around at that particular time, if that makes sense. And so when you start realizing, oh, okay, so I was gonna go and work out, but instead of working out, I decided to, eat Cheeto Puffs. Doesn't really matter, right? You might, in your mind, think, okay, well, I chose to eat Cheeto Puffs, so therefore it's my fault. When in reality, you didn't just choose to eat Cheeto Puffs. More than likely, this person had you go down a direction where they're like, oh, maybe you're not spending enough time with me. Maybe some sort of guilt trip. It could be sabotage. It could be exhaustion. It could be making you tired the day before, right? Which then coerce you into thinking that a decision that was made was your fault, when in reality, it actually was not your fault. If you think about it from like on a longer time spectrum, it doesn't actually make sense. I know that was kind of disorganized on how I said that, but hopefully you get the point. You'll kind of see that a lot of your decisions are, in a sense, they're going to be manipulated so that maybe you're more exhausted and you make worse off decisions long term. And that's just the basic idea of like how this all comes together and why it can be very difficult to leave. And then what happens is, over time, as you stay longer, you start rationalizing more why you should stay, right? Because then you're thinking, oh man, I'm doing all of these, I'm taking all these L's, and you might even start telling yourself that you're a loser, right? And then you're looking over at this person, you're thinking, oh man, they're such a great person for staying with me. Meanwhile, they're the one who caused it. They're the one who was the primary source to why you did what you did in the first place. So, and on top of that, consider the fact that there's going to be the victimhood stuff involved as well. So, just food for thought.